Good morning, everyone. Let's talk about radishes today. So, our fall radishes are sprouting. They're up out of the ground. They're doing pretty well. I don't know about you guys, but um, got a couple leaves that look a little spotty. So, I just wanted to refresh my mind on radish diseases and thought it would be a good time to kind of go over some of the most common ones, just as now is the time of year to be kind of on the watch out for them. We went through it in the spring, and now here we are with radishes in the same stage of coming up again. So, just a good time to refresh our memory. So, a couple of the diseases we'll go over today are going to be downy mildew, clubroot, blackroot, um, Alternaria leaf spot, and damping off. So, two of them actually affect the root, the radish, blackroot, and clubroot. The other two affect the leaves, and the other one affects seedlings. Damping off affects the seedlings. All of them you can see are kind of have their own initiating cause. Most of them have to do with too wet of soil or soil issues. Prevention steps all kind of deal with making sure that they're planted appropriately, spaced appropriately, and we're rotating and making sure the soil's at the right pH. So the first one we'll go over is going to be downy mildew. Downy mildew spreads quickly, so it's important to stop that quick. And it's yellow angular spots on the top of the leaves and then this white powder on the bottom side. So it doesn't affect the root, but the problem with it is that it makes the leaves weak and thus makes your root weaker as well. So severe infections can cause the whole plant to collapse before the root finishes developing. Um, that's why it's important to kind of stop it early. So to prevent it from happening, we plant the radishes 2 inches apart so they don't come up too close together. And then once they're growing a little bit, we thin them out to 4 inches apart. We want to water them low at the ground so that way the leaves don't get wet. And then we water early in the morning so the water that does hit the leaves has time to dry off before the evening. The other thing we can do is you can spray some copper fungicide on this, and that will also take care of um, downy mildew. The next one is clubroot. So that's where the whole plant looks good the whole time, and then you pull it up and your radish is just terrible looking, deformed. This is a soil-borne disease, and it affects the roots and its nutrient uptake and makes it basically have growths on it that are distorting it and makes it so it's not edible. It's hard to know that you have this as it's affecting the root before you pull it up. But one telltale sign is if your radish greens are wilting even though the soil is wet in hot days. That just shows you that something is wrong with the root. So clubroot likes acidic soil. So you're going to test your soil pH, and then you're going to add lime if it's under 7.2 to alkalize the soil. You're also going to rotate crops and then improve drainage. If the soil is too wet, that makes it so the pathogen can survive more easily. If it's bad in your soil, you might need to not plant radishes there for a while and solarize the soil to help kill the bacteria if you want to plant them there sooner than the 3 to 4 years it can take to break the life cycle. The next one is blackroot. This is another one that affects the root. It's a fungal disease, and the tips are black and discolored. They can be woody and lose their crisp texture. One of the best ways to prevent this one is good sanitation. It stays in the soil 3 to 4 years, so really it's not planting in the soil, planting radishes in the same spot if you've noticed this pathogen before. It can take 3 to 4 years to break the cycle. Alternaria leaf spot is the final one. In this one, you have these yellowing circular lesions on the leaves. Again, this doesn't affect the root, but it can kill the radish green leaves and then make it so that the root doesn't finish developing completely and it's small and stunted. If you remove the infected leaves and pull those radishes, you can stop the spread, and then organic fungicides like copper or neem oil also help prevent it. Damping off is the final disease we'll talk about today, and this one kills the little seedlings. So when radishes are young, they almost tip over at the base, and that's another bacterial disease. It lives in the soil, and it's generally poor airflow and crowded plants is what can cause it. You want to make sure not the soil stays moist but not wet. It's a delicate medium for germinating plants. You want to make sure that they have the moisture they need to keep growing, but not so wet that pathogens and stuff can thrive, develop, and weaken the stem and cause it to die off. So, how do we prevent radish disease? We rotate the radish crop's location yearly. We test the soil first. We space the seedlings 2 inches apart, and then we thin the radishes to 4 inches apart. Watering in the morning and at soil level to prevent the leaf from getting too wet. And then any diseased plants we remove right away. The last thing that's important is making sure we don't overfeed with nitrogen. So we can feel free to fertilize, but too much nitrogen causes all green growth and not a lot of growth in the root bulb. So we're encouraging leafy growth that then makes it humid and less airflow and more opportunity for disease without actually encouraging any of the edible part growing.